Tim Bradley reacts to Canelo trying to move up to cruiserweight to fight Makabu. I see you. Stay tuned so we can talk about that in this video. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Now, Tim Bradley, what up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Listen, I don't know how you found my video, but somehow, some way, you made it. You arrived at the content. Help others find the content by throwing a like on the video. Goes a long way. Simple, it's quick, it's painless, I can assure you. And we're going to get into Tim Bradley, what he had to say. Now, he talked about Canelo, and he basically sounds like he believes Canelo has avoided David Benavidez. So without further ado, we'll listen to what Tim Bradley had to say. Roll the clip.
Then he's campaigning there. But as soon as David Benavidez lost that belt, what did he do? And I've said this.
For that WBC, right?
Oh, man. So right off the bat, Tim Bradley sound like your boy Ego. The great Ego Stradamus strikes again. He says, Canelo said he's campaigning at 168, and as soon as David Benavidez lost his belt, what does Canelo do? He goes after the belt. This is very similar, eerily similar to what Canelo payday, you want payday, I know that, did at 154. Demetrius Andrade called him a bitch. Look it up. It's on YouTube. Called him out his name. Called him out for a fight. Canelo did not really respond. It was like beneath him to respond to Andrade. And Canelo was campaigning at 54/Canelo weight at 155. And then as soon as Demetrius Andrade got stripped of his title due to inactivity, some BS, then the title later got in the hands of Liam Smith, and now it's Canelo's last fight at 154. So it's like, Andrade called you out your name and had been calling you out, and you didn't fight him, and that was a fight that people wanted to see from that time all the way to now, and he still hasn't fought him. But then Liam Smith is a guy no one really knows and had no American profile versus Demetrius Andrade, even though Canelo is now saying he's a horrible fighter and all that. He's a U.S. Olympian. He's undefeated. He's a champion in the division. So why would you elect to fight Liam Smith? Same thing with Umbaku or whatever, Makabu, you know? Why are you fighting? Why do you want to fight him out of all people? And you could say the same thing when the belt left the hands of David Benavidez, then he was all over it. So let Tim Bradley keep cooking.
Then he's campaigning there. But as soon as David Benavidez lost that belt, what did he do? And I've said this.
For that WBC, right?
I've said this. WBC, then he started. And I've already said, hey, you automatically should make him number one pound for pound because he's going to become undisputed. There's nobody in the weight class that's going to beat him at 168. So now, still haven't fought Benavidez. Benavidez is like, hey, I'm right here. You want to sell out Cowboy Stadium? You want a guy that you know, a guy that can press you? A guy that everybody's going to say, well, damn. Well, he's not a 10-1 underdog. You know, he's at least 5-4. It's closer. It's a tougher fight. We want to see him in, but he ain't barking up that tree. He don't want none of that.
He ain't barking up that tree. He don't want none of that. Now, I like what Tim Bradley said right here. If you listen, he said David Benavidez is like, yo, I'm right here. I'm the guy. I'll be a Huckleberry. We could sell out AT&T Stadium. So if you're a true Canelo fan, you have to wonder, why does he want to go fight possibly in Africa or Congo or somewhere to fight a random African that's not a big name in the sport rather than like, and this is the craziest part. Canelo being from Mexico and he wants to fight in America or in general, he wants to fight in Mexican Independence Day weekend in September and Cinco de Mayo weekend. So let's unpack that and understand that. In Mexico, they don't really celebrate the same holidays, so that's kind of like a Mexican American holiday. So you want to fight on Cinco de Mayo weekend in May, but doesn't that defeat the whole purpose if you go fight in Africa where that holiday or no one's going to be festive in Cinco de Mayo in Africa? That's not a tradition. That's not a thing. But right here in America, like Tim Bradley is saying, against the Spanish-speaking, half Mexican, half Ecuadorian, David Benavidez, who you're already in the same weight class, he had the belts that you, or at least one of the belts that you now have from fighting Caleb Smith, and he wasn't the WBC champion. The WBC, aka We Back Canelo, kind of just threw that in as an extra belt, right? It makes all the sense in the world. But instead, again, you got to listen to it. You got to study the play, study. Why would Canelo want to fight on Cinco de Mayo weekend and then possibly fight overseas, abroad somewhere, maybe even in Africa, to the point where that holiday wouldn't even be observed where you're going to fight? So to me, I think that defeats the whole purpose of trying to fight on the quote unquote Mexican dates, which is what Canelo initially said he wanted to do. Like Bradley's saying, David Benavidez is saying, hey, I'm right here, pick me. We can do numbers at Cowboys Stadium. And that's why people are so, one of the reasons people are so bothered with Canelo's cherry picking.
For Benavidez, Benavidez is like, hey, I'm right here. You want to sell out Cowboy Stadium? You want a guy that a guy that can press you, a guy that everybody's gonna say, well, damn, well, he's not a 10-1 underdog. He's at least 5-4. It's closer. It's a tougher fight. We want to see him in, but he ain't barking up that tree. He don't want none of that.
Even Charlo mentioning he'll go to Mexico to fight him. I think a fighter would take that to fight in his hometown.
Listen, man, I'm not disrespecting Canelo because Canelo's great for the sport. But what I say, I'm just being honest. I'm being completely honest. And I don't want to get the hate. Hey, you just a hater. No, I like Canelo Alvarez. I think he got a tremendous amount of skills. I really do. But this is what I see.
And I think it's a shame that Tim Bradley has to even put out that disclaimer. He said, I know I'm going to get the hate, like, oh, you're a hater, blah, blah, blah. And the walls are closing in for the Canelo Chupapi Muñeño and the Canelo man fans, the radical man fans that ain't got no sense, that are just out here defending and saying whatever despite objective criticisms for Canelo. And to be honest, like I said, it's sad because Bradley's saying, for the record, I actually like Canelo. He's a dope fighter. He's a good fighter. He's good for the sport, but I'm calling it how I see. But the Canelo fans, when you say anything that they determine is negative, no matter how true, it's like a bull. It's like, I see red. And then, you get all the name calling, you're a clown. And, people say, oh, you're racist. The walls are closing in. So Teddy Atlas is racist. Tim Bradley's racist. I'm racist. David Benavidez is racist. And everybody who is saying the same thing, and there's been multitudes, Max Kellerman, there's been multitudes of people who have said very, very similar things. So again, the walls are closing in for Canelo. People want to see pertinent fights. Now listen to what Tim Bradley says here.
This is what I see. Who is this guy you're fighting at the cruiserweight? Don't know.
What did I tell you? Who is this guy you're fighting at cruiserweight? Bradley don't know him.
Who is this guy you're fighting at the cruiserweight? Don't nobody cares. Belts are spectacles in this event. I'm gonna ask you, when you had Sugar Ray and you had Hernsfeld, or you had Hagler and you had Hernsfeld, what belt did they fight for?
Just the personal. Just the fight. Just
huh?
the fight.
What belt?
Did they?
No, it was a 12-round fight. What the belt did they fight for, though? Do you remember a belt? It's just a spectacle, guys. That's all it is. It looks glamorous on TV. It's fantastic. Oh, he's the champion. No, but it's the fights, man. That's what matters. It's the fights, the matchups. That's what people remember, man.
I love that from Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley, all right, he's starting to grow on me with the commentary. He's keeping it real here. And he said a couple good things that I like recently. But that's it. He said when Hagler's fighting Hearns, people don't remember what belts were on the line. Oh, that was for the WBC or it's for the IBO and IBF. People don't remember that. What they remember is like, wow, did you see Hagler Hearns or, you know, whatever fight, Tommy Hearns versus Roberto Duran. You remember Duran getting smoked and flying into the ropes and getting knocked out. And you're like, woo, the Hitman Hearns is a bad boy. That's what you remember. You remember the great Mike Tyson. I'm not a textbook fighter. I fight to win, totally to win. You remember him knocking out Trevor Berbick when he like 20 years old. That's what you remember. You don't remember what title and, you know, maybe a boxing historian, you know, a modern day Burt Sugar would remember some of these things. But Bradley's right. You're going to remember the moment and the fight and the matchup and how it made you feel. And that's what they said, just like movies. Movies are the same way. You don't remember all the characters' names necessarily and things like that. You remember how the movie made you feel. How did Forrest Gump make you feel when you seen it for the first time? So Bradley was cooking.
No, that's what they remember.
What is it?
I truly don't know because honestly, in my honest opinion, I think he beats Benavidez. I think it's tough. I think it'll be easier fight than Plant, but he's still running from him. And the reason why I say that,
he said he's still running from him. And that's sad because Bradley says he believes Canelo, he would favor Canelo to beat Benavidez, but, you know, it's still a tough fight. And he said it would be tough, easier than the Caleb Plant fight because Benavidez comes straight to you. And Canelo still ain't taking it, which makes it look crazier.
it's because Canelo ain't got to go and hunt him down. You know? And I saw Canelo. To me, he didn't look impressive in his last fight. To me, he wasn't that impressive. Okay, he looked mediocre.
He said Canelo versus Caleb Plant looked mediocre. Once again, when I told, shout out to Bradley, man, professional fighter. People say, oh, Ego, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you're not the fighter. When I told you I had Caleb Plant up on my scorecard, now you have Timothy Bradley, a professional fighter who fought Pacquiao 3 times, has a killer resume, fought the Diego Chavez's, fought with a concussion with Ruslan Provodnikov, fought a legend like Juan Manuel Marquez, right, who also criticizes Canelo. So I guess he's racist too. The walls are closing in. And Bradley said it himself. He said Canelo looked cool. He looked mediocre. He didn't look exceptional to me, right? And that's versus Caleb Plant. He just told you. If you don't believe me, rewind this track. So again, the walls are closing in for Mr. Alvarez. Payday.
I'm being completely honest and 100% with you. And he said, he got the knockout, he got the stoppage. He's finally wore him down. You know, the kid finally conceded. When he go up to cruiserweight and fight some dude that we don't know. Makabu.
He said, why Canelo going to cruiserweight to fight some dude we don't know?
Cruiserweight and fight some dude that we don't know. Makabu. I don't know nothing about no Makabu. I know nothing about no Makabu. Who the
WBC champ?
I don't care what he is.
He said, I don't know nothing about no Makabu. Why he say it like that? Shout out to Bradley. This was gold. He said, I don't know nothing about it. He said, why is Canelo going to cruiserweight to fight some Makabu? I don't know nothing about no Makabu. Why he fight Makabu?
When he go up to cruiserweight and fight some dude that we don't know. Makabu. I don't know nothing about no Makabu. Know nothing about no Makabu. Who the
WBC champ?
He said,
what belt? He went there.
Bradley said that with his soul. I don't know nothing about no Makabu. He said that from the pit of his stomach. I don't know nothing about no Makabu.
I don't know nothing about no Makabu. Know nothing about no Makabu. Who the
WBC champ?
I don't care what he is.
Man, I don't care what he is. Bradley flames Canelo Alvarez. The walls are closing in. The Canelo fans, you got to do something. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Let me know how I did this video. I don't know nothing about no Macabus. The verdict is in. Big fights matter, meaningful fights. People want to see Canelo in the fights with the Charlos and David Benavidez, Andrades. Max Kellerman says better Bevo. This Makabu, we don't know nothing about no Makabu. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.